not. So that's all I'm going to say, and I'm going to open the floor to questions now. So, yes, Dan.
Can you say more about that one?
This one. This is a photograph I took of an egret in, I think it was Lamontor Beach. There's a little wooden walkway over a creek going just after the parking lot. You walk over a creek, and this egret was down there, and so I took a photograph of it, and then I had it printed in what's called grayscale. In other words, you take all the color out, and it's just blacks and whites and grays. And then I added colored pencil. All this is colored pencil. And so that's how that one's made. Anyone else? Yes, Jason.
I'm hearing some sound.
Oh yes, we are hearing some sound thanks to Jason Grenier, earprint. And these are sounds of ambient sounds of birds, and if we're lucky, we'll hear a little whooshing sound that will represent the murmuration back there. Yes.
Do you have a theory why birds are as beautiful as they are? Have you ever seen a
What a great question.
That's a really great question. Well, when I was young, I always wondered who designed these things, you know, because they're all different and they're all very beautiful. And I came from a family of in the Midwest, in Michigan. My grandfather, father, and uncle were hunters. Zoe's father, Gil Carter, were all hunters, and they used to go out and duck blinds and go on, you know, out and get pheasants and geese, Canada geese, and mallards and things. And so my brother and I, our job was to pluck them. So my mother would make these fabulous game dinners, but Carter and I had to pluck them. And I started looking at these feathers when I was really young and seeing them. And I just think they're just fabulous. You know, they're just an incredible design, and I really don't know who did them.
The artist was.
Lost to history.
But the thing is, being an artist, you always wonder if it's worth it on one level, because it's already so beautiful already, you know. So there's this humility that I hopefully bring to my work to see if I can make something half as nice. Yes, Rand.
Yeah, you said this piece, your first piece is ratty.
Well, it's a little tattered.
It leads me to ask how many rats have fallen off your cliff before you were done with all of your art.
Well, just about as many as the birds have fallen off the wall. I keep sticking them back on. Thank you. Yes, Kim.
Yeah, I wanted to point out the shadow and the light and the movement that happens up here with these pieces, because that's what I remember from, I think it was your last show.
Yeah.
Shadows everywhere.
Right.
And so it's very moving to see them moving in light.
Thank you.
And shadow.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a question.
Yes.
I wondered
Karen.
if you have anything you'd like to say about Raven. It's so powerful to me.
Oh, Raven.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Raven.
Why don't you walk down there,
I will. Excuse me.
if there's a way.
Yes, there is.
Tell us about the birds.
Yeah, well, I'll do that after this. Yes. For many years, about 20 years, I was making two-dimensional work. I did three-dimensional work. I trained in art school as a sculptor, and I did about 25 years of sculpture. And then for about 16, 17, 18 years, I did two-dimensional work. And and all these are on wooden panels. So what I did was take photographs. This is a composite of 2 different photographs. Sometimes they're up to 5 different photographs in one thing. This background here was a photograph I took in, I can't remember, Wyoming at a park. There was an old sign. It was about that big, and it was metal, and there was no paper. It was one of those directional kind of signs, but all you saw was the result of everything going away except for the metal. And the sun, I kind of wait for the sun, you know, and wait for it to hit so I can get a contrast in the photograph. And so I waited, and it hit there and here, and so I took that as a background photograph. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I knew I was going to do something, or I wouldn't have been attracted to it. So needless to say, I've got about 22,000 photographs. Oh, well, I don't know if I'll live that long, but this raven, excuse me, is a photograph I took in the Napa Valley. It was sitting in this tree in the winter time, so there were no leaves. So I decided to before I superimposed it on top, I painted the background. I threw paint at it. I did all sorts of swishes. I did all sorts of stuff, you know. I just made it up as I went along. And then obviously I must have taken this piece of paper and held it upside down. And that's how I got the drip marks. It's a good trick. And so then I superimposed this image on top through image transfer. And that's another technique I'll tell you if you want to know. And then after that, I painted this whole thing in. And then I outlined the whole thing in black to make it, you know, give it a contrast. Yes, Zoe.
So it just feels like something out of a fairy tale to me. And I'm just wondering, like, was there a story you were telling yourself as you were creating it, or did you ever at any point look at it and think there's a story that could be told, or is it just purely you're not kind of working in that?
No, I'm just working on a visual language. Yeah. But the thing about something like this is you can make up your own story.
Yeah, I am.
Good. We like it. Yes, Aria.
A little bit what I was going to ask. It wasn't a story, but it was poems. Like, you know, this to me, like the ode to the bird, or ode to flight, or ode to the winged one. And you know, one thing I know you talked about that story about plucking the dead
game birds, yeah.
winged ones. But what is there some sense that you could articulate other than the visual articulation of your relationship to the subject?
To birds in general?
Yeah.
They were always in my life. My grandfather in Michigan had little bird feeders for hummingbirds. You know, those little low things that have little, you put sugar water in them. And he would go around and he'd fill them, and the birds would be humming around him. And I just loved that. You know, they weren't afraid of him at all. And then he had a bird feeder. And so I watched, as a child, I sat in the rocking chair by the big picture window and I watched the birds come and go. And we had a bird feeder at no, we didn't. Actually, we didn't. My father had a big cage about this big of finches. He got into this thing about finches for some reason. And Danny Boy was the first finch, and he outlasted all the other ones. And there were up to 11 finches in that. So I watched them, you know, go back and forth in this big flight cage.
You've also talked about dreams of flying.
Oh, I have dreams of flying. Yeah. I have dreams of flying. I still do have dreams of flying. But the thing that I found that where I could fly the best was downhill skiing. So, so I did that. So anyway, I'm afraid the time is one.
Talk about this piece.
Yes, let me talk about this piece before. Okay. Now, I don't know if you all agree, but I'm really fascinated with murmurations. It's of starlings, and they just do this whole dance in the sky, and they swish and they run around, and so I just got a still from a video I found, and I started thinking, okay, I can't put 600 laser cut birds on the wall at once. So I started by doing where they mass together, and so that's actually on paper. That's a secret. Don't tell anybody, but it's on blue paper. And then after that, I put another 300. It took a few minutes.
How long did it take?
Oh, I don't know. Well, they still keep jumping off the wall, so I'm still. They're not going to ever. It will never be finished. And that's me up there, looking. Do I want to join or not?
Bird's eye view.
Bird's eye view, right? Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
What's your name for it?
Raven.
That's a beautiful piece.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Pace's mother.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Hello. Hi.
I'm Aisha.
Aisha, right.
Nice to meet you.
All right, nice to meet you.
My mom is a very